What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Zeal Cigar review. I'm your boy JB, and today I'm going to be explaining how sometimes manufacturers get stuck with cigars and they don't have anything to do with them except watch them sit there and age. So then they got guys like me that they reach out to and say, hey, we got some extra cigars laying around. Do you have any interest in them? And that's how this fall run, the Burlap Bomber, came to be. And we're going to talk about this CLE Overrun Habano all next on the Zeal Cigar Review. So guys, there's a lot of different ways that I get house brands, right? I work with a couple really big distributors. I work with some small factories. I work with some really big name factories. I work with a lot of people, but every once in a while, one of those manufacturers might change something like a blend, a wrapper, maybe they rebranded, and they get stuck with things that are left over. And they usually call these overruns. Sometimes it could be a size that didn't sell well in their line. Sometimes it could just be something that's left over after they've made changes. In this particular situation, this is a Habano from CLE that they had sitting around the warehouse that was just kind of aging, you know, not doing anybody any good. Well, sometimes aging does some people good. And they reached out to me and said, hey, we've got a number of these 6x58 cigars. They're Habanos. Do you think you could maybe do something with them? You know, maybe spread a little bit of the CLE love to some people that maybe have never smoked their cigars at a little bit of an affordable price point. And that's what we've done here with the Burlap Bomber. Just think a scarecrow with a baseball bat, just swinging for the fences and cranking crows over 500 yards, right? That's the inspiration behind this. This is the kind of cigar that you want to sit outside on your front porch, looking over the cornfield, over the bonfire, after Thanksgiving dinner while you're watching football outside on the patio. This is your fall smoker's cigar, and I can't wait to share it with you. You know what we got to do. We got to cut light and smoke. Now, I've actually already... Man, there's a sweetness off this wrapper. I've actually already smoked one of these today because they just came in. So I always smoke one almost immediately right off the truck to make sure that, you know, it's what I expected it to be. Or if it's not, then how do I switch gears and figure out another way to make these marketable, right? But I smoked it and it was everything I wished it would be. It was an absolute pleasure to smoke. I couldn't wait to get on here and share it with you guys and tell you guys about this short overrun, limited edition Burlap Bomber. I've actually got a friend of ours smoking it in the lounge right now. He's probably about into the final third, and he's thoroughly enjoying it. So let's get into it. And the name Burlap Bomber may or may not have gained a little bit of inspiration because I may or may not be a Yankees fan. Derek Jeter was one of my favorite baseball players of all time, so be mad at me if you want, but I like the Yankees, love Derek Jeter. Right off the bat, you get a little bit of some like spice that kind of lingers between nutmeg and cinnamon, and then you get a little bit of like a fresh, grassy, like cedar kind of woody note. It grabs you right away. I mean, definitely a little bit of spice right up front. Definitely gets a hold of you. Man, this one I had fun naming, right? Like I was just sitting up front and I'm getting ready to go back home to Ohio and visit my dad and hang out on the horse farm. I'm probably going to get sucked into some kind of hay baling fiasco, and which is good. Dad probably needs the help. But I was just sitting there thinking like, man, this cigar is like the perfect bonfire, back porch, hay mowing, after Thanksgiving, after a long day kind of smoke. And it's one of those ones that you could smoke on its own, or you could pair with a good whiskey or scotch or a nice cup of coffee. And I was just sitting there thinking like, what if a scarecrow had just a giant baseball bat and was just straight up just popping crows and as they came in to eat the corn, you know? And that's kind of where we came up with the name, the Burlap Bomber. This is a limited run cigars. There were a very limited number of amount of these overruns that CLE had left over. Now, a lot of times I don't tell you guys where I get cigars from, but in this particular situation, I think it's important to not act like this is something that was made special for me, or act like it's something new and unique and different or anything like that, right? This is exactly what it is. This is a cigar that was produced by CLE at some time that they had extras of that is considered an overrun. And whatever that is, whatever reason that is, I don't know. Sometimes they don't know. All I know is it's a really great cigar that I was able to get a hold of at a reasonable price that I get to pass on to everybody else from a very premium company that makes really good Honduran cigars, which, in my personal opinion, can be sometimes tricky. Honduran tobacco can be a little bit, some people find it a little dirty or a little earthy, or they want more of something from it. So to be able to get something like this from a company like that would normally be banded and boxed and be able to pass that on to you guys is kind of a blessing. And I'm very happy about it. And I'm excited to pass it on to you guys. Let me get into this Burlap Bomber some more and stop freaking talking. Clean finish. That cinnamony nutmeg with that little bit of that woody bite. Some sweetness. It's got a really pleasant, almost florally kind of note off the foot of the cigar, just in the aromatic smoke. Very, very tasty cigar. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would say the draw's right in the middle. Probably about a 2.5. If 1 is really loose and 5 is really tight, I would say it's like a 2.5 leaning 3. It's not on the looser side, it's more on the tighter side. But man, that spice, you get a little bit of that coating in your mouth that's kind of sweet. And then it's got a pretty clean finish where that spice just kind of lingers just a tad. Like it's kind of like a cinnamony nutmeg. Little bit of white pepper. Little bit of a white pepper grab. Little bit of a nose tingle on the retrohale. But not much. It's just enough to kind of keep you coming back, you know? You like it. You want more of it. And if I remember from the one I smoked this morning, once I start getting into that, once I start getting further into the first third and into the second third of the cigar, it does lighten up and get a little bit more smooth and creamy. So I'm going to go smoke it down a little bit more. Catch back up with you guys in the second third. All right, everybody, we're back here with the Burlap Bomber. We're getting into that final third finally. And, what's really interesting about this cigar is it hits you with a little bit of that spice and that white pepper up front in that first third. And then as it gets into that second third, you get a little bit more of that, like, woody sweetness, a little bit more of that floral kind of note that comes off the foot of the cigar. And then as you start getting into this final third again, it picks back up. A little bit more of that wood, a little bit more of like some leather. There's some sweet cocoa also in that second third. And then, yeah, that final third picks up. More leather, a little bit more spice, a little bit more wood and cedar. But all in all, man, this is a very tasty cigar. I mean, I'm coning it, and it's a 6x58, so I'm smoking this kind of fast. And I got a couple guys in the lounge smoking it now. There was one, now there's two. And so far, the feedback's been really good. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And with that, I got to get back to work. This has been the limited run, the Burlap Bomber, an overrun from CLE. With that, guys, I got to get back to work. Peace.